Hi, my name is Jay Morgan. I'm a cut specialist at Antoine Duche, the spa at Cherry Creek in Denver, Colorado. Today I'm going to be doing a French twist on my model. I got my inspiration from the style that Audrey Hepburn wore in Breakfast at Tiffany's. I'm going to keep the same basic shape, just making minor adjustments so it'll be a lot more wearable with today's fashion. So I did a quick assessment of my model's hair. And I found out that it was dry, so I used the Bon Seton 2 and the Lait Vital. This will add a lot of moisture into the hair. It will also add shine and give it some nourishment. So to prep the hair today, we're going to use about a quarter size amount of the Nectar Thermique, and we're going to work that in through the ends of the hair first, working our way through the mid-lengths to the roots so we get an even application. We'll be using that for the thermal protection that's in there to protect against the heat of that blow dryer. We're also going to use the Lift Vertige, about a pump of it. We're going to work it through the crown and the round of the head, and that's going to help give us that lift that we want. We're going to use the Spray à Porter through the mid-lengths and ends. That's going to give us a nice texture for the hair so the bobby pins have something to grab onto. We're also going to use the Mousse Bouffant through the mid-lengths and ends, about a baseball size amount, working that through so we get that volume. So as I blow dry, I'm going to make a nice bend in the hair, not too much as to make a wave, but we want a nice curve in it so we can work with that in our style. I'm going to also make sure that with the fringe section, I get the right bend in that so I don't have to come back through and redo that as we get to the front of the style. Alright, so now that we are done with the blow dry, we're going to go through the sectioning real quick. So we're going to take a horseshoe section from mid to low recession, coming through the lower part of the crown, just underneath the crown. And we're going to section that top part away while we are working on the underneath there. As we are done with the underneath, we're going to come back through the top, sectioning off the fringe area and working through this top area before we finish off with the fringe. Now that we have the sectioning done to separate the top from the bottom, we're going to work through and build the shape for the bottom. We're going to work internally, back combing the whole section internally. That's going to give us a nice base for the bobby pins to clip into. Alright, so now that we have our back comb base in there, we're going to gather up all the hair, but we're going to leave out the perimeter at the bottom. This will allow us, as we get that shape built in there, to make sure that we have a nice smooth finish on the bottom. And we're going to use our smoothing brush and the lock dentelle to make sure that it's completely smooth while we put those bobby pins in there. So now that we have this side smooth, we're going to go through with our bobby pins and make sure that we're crisscrossing them as we go up the head shape. That's going to allow us to make sure that they're locked into the style. Checking for balance as we move up the head shape. Locking them in. And then on the final one, we're going to go downwards with it. Making sure again that it locks into that bobby pin. Double checking for the balance. Now moving along to the bottom perimeter of it, once we have our base set in there, this is going to allow us, once we get the twist in there, to allow us to lock our bobby pins in underneath the row of bobby pins we just created. Now as we work on this bottom part, tilt your model's head down and making sure you comb and brush all these hairs smooth and then twisting them as we go up. So now that we've twisted the hair up and sprayed it, making sure we get as many of the smaller baby hairs and those fine hairs as we can, we're going to twist the hair up and lock that in, making sure it's underneath those bobby pins. We are now going to work with the lock dentelle on the opposite side, smoothing it out, making sure that we have a very smooth finish, and then we will begin to wrap the hair up and form the twist. Then we're going to lock that in, making sure the bobby pins are locked in underneath this row we've created. Alright, now that we've finished the bottom half of the style, we're going to work through the top. To begin, we're going to section off the fringe and then work through the crown, through the top of the head, back combing internally so we get more of that bouffant look through here. Then we're going to, working with the lock dentelle, form the hair around into a nice spiral on the right side of the head. So to recap, I've shampooed her with the Bonsaton 2 and the Le Vital. Then I worked into the hair the Nectar Thermique, which adds a nice thermal protectant to the hair. The Spray à Porter, which will give us a nice body, a nice texture. The Lift Vertige through the crown, and the round of the head, which will give us that nice lift through there. And then the Mousse Bouffant to add the volume and also give us a little bit of a hold for the style. So as you can see, we've hidden the pins. We've hidden the pins through there, through the head shape, making sure you really get them underneath the hair to hide them. And then on the top, bringing this over and blending the fringe in through the side here. That is my style, and thank you.